All right, back to four-way action here at the final table at the Aviation Club. Hugo Lemaire, first to play. He's got ace-8, and he's going to raise 65,000. He makes it. Byron Kaverman out.
Over to Matt Waxman. Tough throw out of Florida. Looks down at the Jack-9 of diamonds.
Four-handed poker in Paris.
You like to see a flop with this kind of hand. See what Matt's going to do. Maybe he doesn't want to see a flop because he is 3-betting here, re-raising with the Jack-9.
175 now. Frederic behind him, gets out of their way. Back on Hugo.
We talk about power poker. This is what we're talking about. 3-betting with hands like this.
Well, Hugo's going to make the call.
We're going to see a flop here. The flop comes Queen 10 deuce with 2 spades. So Matt has flopped an open-end straight draw.
Hugo hitting nothing there.
How much pressure can you take here when the man 3-bet you now leads out and bets on the flop?
Yep, but that's 130,000 into the young man who, this is his club. This is his hometown club, the Aviation Club. He wants to show off his friends, take down the big money, and he's going to re-raise with just ace high.
It's just incredible how many real poker plays we've seen at this final table. And folks, when I talk about a real poker play, I'm talking about making a raise or betting a hand with no hand and no draw.
But you can't push around. Big boy, he's calling this.
Well, he's called with the open-end straight draw. And I can assure you, Hugo does not like that. 6 of spade on the turn. Neither player going to be happy to see that card because neither have a spade in their hand.
Oh, and look at this. They both look at each other a little desperate. Which more desperate man will have the gall to bet?
Look at this. Matt Waxman, with just the jack high, is going to bet 275,000 here. Now, to me, this is like a defensive bet. Here you see the quizzical look. Hugo Lemaire wondering why the guy's bet now. Wow. I raised him on the flop. Why is he leading out in the turn? His problem is he has nothing here.
He looks puzzled. And the Frenchman is going to say, Fini, he's out of there.
So Matt Waxman taking down yet another big pot to extend his chip lead. The American having a big time in Paris right now.
And how Matthew Waxman from Florida shining right now.
These lights are not helping.
Of course, there are the Royal Flush Girls also shining beautifully.
The heat situation.
Matt complained a little bit how hot the lights are. It is very hot in Paris here tonight, folks. Let me tell you something. That room these players are in, it is extremely hot. You're going to have to be extremely mentally tough to survive this final table, not only as a poker player, but to survive the heat.
All right, back to action. Frederic has folded. Hugo has raised with the pair of 9s to 65,000. Byron, with just King 5, is going to get tricky here, it looks like, with a re-raise.
I just saw his fellow American get re-raised and then bet to win the pot. So he's going to try to 3-bet to win it right here with just a King 6 offsuit.
Matthew behind them picks up ace queen. Pretty solid, but it's been raised and re-raised.
He's got nothing invested in this pot. And as you said, it's been raised and re-raised. Many players would just muck the ace queen here. Why get involved? That's not the style of Matt Waxman. He likes to get involved. He's going to 4-bet it here with just the ace queen.
Hugo says, Fini, I've had enough. And Byron also going to fold his hand. So everything going right for the American. Matthew Waxman from Parkland, Florida. He is our chip leader. Taking down another pot.
Hello.
Bonjour. People ask me like what I think of their poker game. I might just tell them it's not that great. I mean, the ace, right?
It is.
He's earned so many of his pots here tonight. Check raising with air, betting with jack highs. Here he's got the real deal, the 2 jacks, and he's going to 3-bet it to 170,000.
Frederic.
He's the amateur French player that's gone to work every day this week. Still here with 4 players left. Incredible.
He folds his hand, and Hugo needs to see this flop. He is called. Ace 10 up against a pair of jacks. Oh, wow. Three
Well,
tens just like that, Mike.
Well, this is just what Hugo's looking for. Matt's going to check his 2 jacks.
Hugo with an opportunity. You know what? He's going to dig the hole, put the branches, the twigs over it, wait for the sucker to fall in.
Well, the sucker now has 2 jacks and an open-end straight draw, as you call him. He'd have to think he's got the best hand right here after his opponent checks on the flop, so he's getting out some betting chips. And you're right, Vince. He could fall into a big trap right here.
Well, he's bet 155,000. Is this Paparini time?
He just calls with the 3 tens. I am puzzled by
Surprised
that.
at Now that's the time you got to come back over
In
the
case
top.
your opponent's got a jack, you'd be afraid a straight card would come off, maybe.
Maybe he'll hit us full house.
And there it is. The king comes off.
Oh, man.
So 4 cards straight on the board, and Matt Waxman, who's in dire straits on the flop, now has the best hand with the straight.
Complete debacle there for the Frenchman.
You know, sometimes, Vince, you can slow play yourself into oblivion, and that's what the Frenchman's done here. Didn't bet the flop, didn't raise on the turn. He no longer has the best hand. The question is he going to pay off this bet?
Well, Waxman has bet 280,000.
Well, frustration on the Frenchman right now. You can see that. He's saying, you got to be kidding me. I slowed this, played this hand. This guy's got a jack in his hand, and I've now gotten beat.
He tries so hard to trap a guy. And sometimes that trap just backfires. But
Yeah.
it's a curiosity call.
Yep, gotta make the call with the 3 tens. And he just doesn't want to let the hand go. Just feeling woozy right now.
Yeah, don't want to show it either. Matt Waxman is a one-man wrecking crew. Just rolling down the Champs-Elysees here tonight, Mike.
He's the Eiffel Tower of this game, Vince. No doubt about that. Matt Waxman taking down yet another pot to yet increase his chip lead. And that pot put a stinging blow on the young Frenchman.
Coming up, no holds barred commentary on tonight's play with Tony Dunst and the Raw Deal.
Plus, a new segment for Season 10, On the Road, that gives you behind-the-scenes access to the World Poker Tour and this week's Champions Cup moment as the Grand Prix de Paris continues right after this. Right after this.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, brought to you by ClubWPT.com.
Well, I can tell you, if you're a poker player, at some point in your life, you got to come to the Aviation Club de France and play some poker. Best location of any poker room in the world, that's for sure. Smack dab in the middle of the Champs-Elysees.
Well, it reeks of class and fun. It just makes you want to play poker. And right now, four-handed action.
Yeah, 2 Americans, 2 Frenchmen fighting it out for this title. But right now, Matt Waxman with the big chip lead. He's got nearly $6 million. Nobody else has $2 million.
Incredible. Back to the table we go.
No American has ever won this WPT title here in Paris. Only one Frenchman has, David Benjamin. One of these guys looking to add their name to the WPT Champions Cup.
Hugo has folded, and now Byron Caberman. He has been whittled down here tonight.
Well, nothing's gone right for him so far, but looks like this hand might go right for him. As he picks up the ace-king, he's going to raise it. Makes it 80,000 to go.
To Matthew Waxman, who also has a quality hand, ace-queen.
Last time he picked up ace-queen, it was raised and re-raised to him, and he 4-bet on top of it and took the pot down. I feel certain he's going to 3-bet here with this hand. If he 4-bets with it, surely he's going to 3-bet with it, and he does. 205,000.
Frederick, the Frenchman, the amateur player who's played very solid, tight tonight, goes away. Back on Byron.
Man, with his chip stack, I think you just got to ship it here.
All in.
He's going to do so. Now, will he get the call by Matthew?
I call.
Yes, he does.
Well, he's called, and Byron in great shape to double up here, to get a much-needed double up, I might add.
Yes, decent damage against our chip leader, Matthew. You got to love it when your ace-king is up
Good
against
luck.
ace-queen. Byron went to college, studied psychology in college, a fine soccer player. Hasn't had much luck here tonight. Let's see if this hand will bring him some. So far, so good.
Well, a king right on the flop, and it's
Chopped
come
it
king
up.
4 deuce. Well, Matt hollering, chop it up, meaning he'd like to see 2 more clubs come out there, but
I
no.
don't want the whole thing.
A queen comes
Sorry,
off.
bro.
Meaning if another queen comes off, this would be a savagely brutal beat
Brutal.
for Byron, but still a big favorite.
River card, it's a 6 of hearts. Byron's hand's gonna hold up.
That's the boost that Byron Towerman was looking for. He's been a pro for 6 years. Had a great year already. Actually won over $500,000 playing poker this year so far.
He's played 9 WPT events, his first cash.
Taking a look at the Player of the Year race early on, it's Legends of Poker champ Will the Thrill Fiala currently in the lead, but tonight's winner in Paris jumps into a tie for first as this race continues. In the meantime, let's get back to the call of the game with Mike and Vince.
Well, 4 players remain, and Matthew Waxman is still the chip leader with about 5.1. Action going to Hugo. He's going to fold his hand. Byron Caverman now with an ace-6.
And he's on the button with the ace high, going to raise it up.
Makes it 80,000 to go. Matthew out. Frederick Magin. Look at that.
He just got 2 queens.
Beautiful hand. Not going to re-raise.
Slow playing them.
Yep. Trying to trap.
Let's see how it works out for him.
Maybe he's smart because he hits 3 queens on the flop just like that.
So it's come king, queen, jack.
Checking again. Byron checking behind him.
Byron trying to catch that 10 to give him a straight. Doesn't happen as the king comes off. Full house for the Frenchman.
Just queens full. He's going to check again. Let's see if Byron will bite. No. Good resistance.
Not falling any traps here so far. Got the kind of hand you don't mind checking it down with, an ace high.
River card, irrelevant. 5 of clubs. He's still not going to bet.
Now this guy is the slow play king of the world.
Love him.
Ace. No
Now
good.
Byron says yes. The Frenchman says no good, and he turns up a full house here.
So no, it's not.
Oh,
No, it's
boy.
not good.
Frederick Magin with
I think
queens
if I
full.
bet you fold.
Well, maybe better keep that day job, Vince.
Well, he has a tight perception at the table. If he's going to check, a lot of guys aren't going to bet your hand, so it backfires for the Frenchman, even though he takes down that pot.
Well, Vince, we've had a great time all week long here in Paris, but now it's time for the viewers to get a glimpse of what happens behind the scenes on the World Poker Tour with this segment of On the Road.
Okay, I'm outside of the aviation club. No more cards for me. No more smoke.
Huh? I'm not showing the other one. You have to watch it on NBC on Poker After Dark.
Arnold, take a tip from the pro. Tip from the pro. You notice how he never shows his hand?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Who?
You.
I showed one.
You showed one, right.
He showed me a hand card, which meant it was easier for me to fold.
Yeah.
Back with more of Poker After Dark when we return to Las Vegas. The action continues inside our exclusive Las Vegas poker room. Blind steady at 2 and 400. Daniel Negreanu now second in chips. Mike Matisow still in sixth.
Shawshank Redemption. I knew you were going to say that for some reason. Isn't that where you lost $5,000 on a bet? Where you thought what? That's funny. He brought that
I
up.
remember that.
He made a bet for $5,000 with Howard Lederer, and he bet him like $5,000 when it won Movie of the Year. And Howard goes, "I know when it was." And Mike says,
No. I said it won Best Picture of the Year, and they said, no, it didn't. I go, yeah, it did. And Forrest Gump won that year, and they made me a bet. And Doyle said, don't make that bet. I already lost $5,000 on that bet. Because he thought it won Best Picture, too.
And you bet it anyway?
I bet it anyway.
You're such an idiot. You deserve that.
I think I was involved because I think someone came to me and asked me because Forrest Gump was nominated the year I was nominated. So I knew when it was.
Yeah, that would be kind of something you'd remember, I think.
The year was 1994 when Tilly got the Best Supporting Actress nomination for her role in Woody Allen's Bullets Over Broadway.
Oh my God, that was so.
Did you see that?
Ed Norton is such a genius.
American History X, Edward Furlong.
That was the one where the director got, I guess he got fired off his own movie or something, Tony Kaye, because he was like such an out there guy. And he started taking out all these cryptic ads in Variety, like Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, and it was like, what does that mean? He's scaring us. That was after he was fired. He started taking out full page ads in Variety, like with nursery rhymes.
Ed Norton,
that was a
man,
cool movie. He
that
was
guy
amazing in
touches,
that movie.
and
Like,
he touches stuff, it goes to gold. It's just.
he was like buffing that thing too. He worked out like crazy.
To give you a
Looked
little bit of
scary.
information about how angry I get when people.
From the most famous street in the most beautiful city in the world, an international field of young pros put their national pride on the line to win the prestigious Grand Prix de Paris and the coveted WPT Champions Cup. And it's only on the World Poker Tour.
Well, the crowd all said that he was certainly trained. They are all bare knuckles in the center of the ring. He would love to knock this loudmouth out.
The Aviation Club in France is one of the original charter members of the World Poker Tour, but the elegance and exclusivity that mark this historic venue stand in contrast to the explosive finals the WPT has witnessed here over the years.
This, folks, is unbelievable. It's an ace-7 against two aces. George the Greek has come back and defeated two aces here.
Yeah! Tony G is outdrawing the American.
It's gonna rip you apart so hard, and you're gonna suffer so much. Oh, man, you will never want to play poker again with me, ever.
And it's a tap-tap. Christian Gutberg has done it.
Now in our 10th season, the faces may have changed, but the passion remains, as 5 days ago, a field from around the globe arrived in Paris, ready to prove they have what it takes to win the Champions Cup. Since season 1, the Aviation Club de France has been and continues to be one of the WPT's premier destinations for poker. Located on the Champs-Élysées, just down the avenue from the Arc de Triomphe, the club attracts the best and the brightest among poker's elite.
We are here at the Aviation Club, and this is the exact room that Mike and I used to call the final table, was right here, but no longer. But what we do have now is this fantastic trophy, and all the champions of the World Poker Tour, their names are on this, engraved.
We welcome all the players. We appreciate their support on the World Poker Tour. And players, bon chance to all of you in making it to the final table. And now, let's shuffle up and deal.
As play got underway, American pros such as Season 9 ones to watch, Joseph Chung, WPT finalist Michael Benvenuti, and Matthew Waxman took their seats, hoping to take advantage of a field featuring plenty of online qualifiers and satellite seat winners. Keeping in mind that European players have dominated the WPT events in Paris, with no player outside of the continent having won and having had their name etched on the Champions Cup.
I've seen some interesting plays for sure, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tough players here too, so can't get off my guard too much.
Our own Mike Sexton found himself seated at one of the always charismatic Jean-Robert Bellot.
Here in France, the guys just love to gamble. You know, back home, people kind of knit it up. They want to play properly. They want to play by the book. The table that I have, I feel like there's probably two really, really good players at my table, but there's so many players that are here just having fun, having a blast, and happy to get the money in.
But the day didn't turn out as planned for Jean-Robert.
Extra disappointed right now just because this was such a great tournament. I played very, very well, and sometimes it doesn't matter how well you play. You just need the cards to hold out.
The one player you could not miss in the tournament room was WPT champion Guillaume Darcourt. Guillaume's shocking pink hair, coupled with his ever-increasing chip stack, caught the notice of all the players in the room. At the end of the day, it was Guillaume at the top of the chip counts with over 198,000. American pro Joe Ebanks in second with 142,000. Season 8 Bay 101 champion McLean Carr in third with 133,000.
and WPT finalist Sean Kunix in 6th place with over $115,000. The combined survivors from days 1A and 1B would unite in 12 hours to battle it out on day 2. At the start of day 2, 167 players filed into the Aviation Club. With registration closed, the tournament staff announced a total prize pool of over 2.2 million euros, with first place taking home over 500,000.
And the honor of having their name added to the Champions Cup, which had gotten the notice of all the players in the field, including Champions Club member Olivia Gustet.
I like that. That's awesome.
The new seating assignments put Mike Sexton right next to Season 3 Grand Prix de Paris winner Surinder Sunar.
Nothing bad's happened yet. Other than I got the former champion of this tournament on my left.
I called you.
You know exactly how to play.
Mike got into trouble soon after when his pocket aces ran into his opponent's flopped flush. Mike's quick day 2 exit was quite a surprise to Raw Deal analyst Tony Dunst, who was still in the hunt.
Mike Sexton busted?
McLean Carr and day 1A chip leader Miko Sundell also found themselves at the same table, but were able to stay out of each other's way and chip up.
Whenever I have a lot of chips, though,
A fresh batch of players to follow and ones to watch. And best of all, we're expanding our coverage of the playdown and final table action to 3 full hours in order to bring you even more of the best poker on television.
Preparations for the final table are being made here at the Aviation Club in France, but we still have more coverage of early tournament action here in Paris, brought to you by ClubWPT.com, so stick around. The WPT's coverage of the Grand Prix de Paris, where we're in the midst of seeing how tonight's players made their way to the final table.
As the day started, the hopefuls in the Grand Prix de Paris were still 25 players away from the money. In a tale of 2 players, McLean Carr began at the top in 6th chip position, while French pro Hugo Lemaire was near the bottom in 49th place. These 2 players quickly headed in opposite directions. But while Hugo doubled up immediately and began to climb in the chip counts, WPT champ McLean Carr couldn't get it going and went from 6th place to busting just short of the money. Tensions ran high with 38 players remaining and the bubble about to burst. Russian player Yevgeny Zastev led out on an all-diamond flop for $24,000. French player Christophe Lesage re-raised to $51,000, and French pro Rebecca Guerin went all in. Yevgeny quickly reshoved, putting Christophe to a decision. Christophe folded, and the remaining players turned up their hands. Rebecca turned over a 10-high flop flush, while Yevgeny turned over a flop straight flush. The room let out a gasp after seeing Rebecca's misfortune. That hand left Rebecca with only $1,000 in chips. She was all in shortly after and knocked out, becoming the unfortunate bubble girl. The remaining 36 players were guaranteed at least 11,100 euros and were still in the hunt to have their name etched on the Dace King. Sean caught a miracle jack on the flop and was in good shape to double up. His celebration was short-lived as a queen on the river counterfeited his hand, sending Byron the pot and Sean to the rail.
It was fun.
Play ended for the day after WPT Amityville finalist Nesreen Quarterly knocked out Christophe Lesage in 19th place. As players backed up their chips, American Matthew Waxman was in 1st place with over $1.1 million, followed closely in 2nd by Finn Miko Sundell. Nesreen was in 4th place with $839,000, with Byron Kaverman in 5th. The final 18 would return for day 4 to play down to the final 6. After 3 days of intense poker, 18 survivors gathered around the last 2 tables to see which 6 players would make the televised final table.
Good morning.
Early on, things looked bleak for WPT champ Guillaume Darcourt as he lost half his stack when his pocket kings ran into the pocket aces of Andras Kovacs, but was way behind Hugo's king-high flush draw. An 8 of diamonds on the river sent Hugo the pot and denied Guillaume his shot at a 2nd WPT title. At the other table, former WPT finalist Joe Cassidy went all in pre-flop for his last $126,000. After some deliberation, Miko Sundell made the call and had Joe dominated. No help on the board sent Joe home and dimmed the American hopes for first ever WPT pairs champion even further. Now, only Matthew Waxman and Byron Coverman were in the running to be the first to hold that honor. As the final 10 players were combined to one table, Byron Coverman knocked out Season 9 WPT Amityville finalist Nazreen Quarterly to increase his chip stack. With 7 players left but only 6 seats at the TV table, Matthew Waxman moved all in pre-flop with pocket queens and was instantly called by local player Frederick Majan holding ace-jack offsuit. Jack on the flop gave Frederick a glimmer of hope, and a miracle jack on the river saved him from the dreaded 7th place finish.
I need to double up, buddy.
That unfortunate honor went to Dori Yakub, who failed to improve with his queen jack against Hugo Lemaire's pocket fives. With Dori's elimination, the final 6 were set.
Good luck, guys.
Along with the 2 Americans, Matthew Waxman and Byron Coverman, there were 2 Frenchmen hoping to be the first French player to win this event since David Benjamin won it back in Season 2.
That is going to do it. David has won this title.
The Finn, Miko Sundell, who hoped to end the streak of second-place finishes for the Finns. And rounding out the final 6 on the short stack was Swedish pro Martin Jacobson. Jacobson was the runner-up at the Season 8 WPT Venice event and had a long history of second-place finishes throughout his career. He, along with the other 5 players, had their sights on the Champions Cup and over €500,000 that comes with being the champion of the Grand Prix de Paris. As our final 6, all at their first televised WPT final, are settling into their seats, let's turn to Poker Hall of Famer Mike Sexton and our own Vince Van Patten. Guys, thoughts on tonight's table here in Paris?
Well, Kimberly, we've got a terrific international lineup of young, talented players at this final table tonight. In fact, 5 out of 6 of these guys are 26 years of age or younger. We've never had an American win this WPT title in France, but tonight we've got 2 Americans at this final table. Chip leader Byron Coverman from Ohio and Matt Waxman from Florida. And Vance, I give these 2 guys a great shot to win tonight.
Well, they are going to be tough. But Kimberly, it is good to be back in Paris. It really is. Land of Napoleon, Marie Antoinette, and lots of men that wear red pants for some reason. But it is fun. And I'll tell you something, it is a tough field. We have the 2 Americans. We're very proud of them. But it's going to be tough here tonight because you have a young Swede, a former cook. He is Martin Jacobson. He will be tough. Then along with him, we have a Finnish player, a part-time professional student, and a poker player, Miko Sundell. But rounding out the field, of course, we have to have 2 Frenchmen. And they will be brutal. They are the crowd's favorite. They will be tough tonight. They'll be trying to make their own reign of terror on this table tonight. So, Kimberly, butter up your croissant. Let's get this going.
You mean croissants? I've had about 20 this week. Oh, and Vince, by the way, I thought you were going to wear your beret tonight.
Ah, the beret, yes, yes. Heads up, actually. We wear berets, yes.
I'll let you off this time. All right, down on the floor, the player starting tonight, 5th in chips, Matthew Waxman, has some thoughts on tonight's competition.
We're all really close, so anything could happen. A lot of great players. Everyone's pretty competent in tournament play, so it's anyone's game. There's going to be a lot of gambling going on.
Preparations are all but complete for the final table of the Grand Prix de Paris. Shuffle Up and Deal begins right after this.
As a Club WPT VIP, you get exclusive inside access to the WPT and you play for your share of more than $100,000 in monthly cash and prizes, including WPT seats. Check out ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker. Guaranteed.
Welcome back to Paris, France, and the Aviation Club de France, where we're just moments away from the start of the final table of the Grand Prix de Paris. We started 5 days ago. We've had 5 days of intense play. We're now down to our final 6 players. And Vince, as you know, we've had some great final tables in Paris in the past. Tonight should be no exception.
It's going to be good, Mike. Okay, the antes are starting at 3,000. Lines 10 and 20.
Well, there you see our chip leader. Byron Coverman from Ohio got over 2 million in chips. 5 out of those 6 players are young pros under the age of 26 years old. 1 amateur at the table. Nice diverse group here.